Alright guys, welcome back to another reaction video. My name is James.
I'm Nobu.
And today we are going to be watching Fruits Basket Season 2, Episode 25. So this is the season finale.
Yes, sir.
I mean, last season finale was a little crazy, so who knows what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We seem to be breaking through with Akito a little bit. Not like with him specifically, but I don't know, making ripples in the Soma family to kind of like break away or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Like seeing him freak out on Yuki, I feel like it was huge because it's like seeing that like composure broken, which kind of means we're getting to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that, yeah, I'm curious to know more about Akito.
Yeah,
like reasons why and things like that. But yeah, I definitely think, progress is being made, especially on Yuki's department. I feel like Yuki, especially
making huge progress.
Yeah, and he was like a favorite in a sense
of course.
Akito's, right? So I think that's on both ends. It's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it all goes. The season finale, I'm very excited. As always, full length reaction is going to be up with the Patreon. The next episode, season 3, episode 1, is going to be up for early access. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out. And yeah, thank you just for being here. Thank you for joining us, for watching. If you all are new here, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. And all that being said, let's just get into Fruits Basket, season 2, episode 25.
What's happening?
Is that Akito?
Yeah, right?
Like feathers? What?
Wow, what was that start?
They're giving us more information in the opening of this final episode than they have in the entire show.
Did he like break the curse?
I have no idea, but that was young Akito or younger Akito. What, because somebody finally stood up to you for once in your life?
I feel like that's true, actually.
Hey, it's better than the hot, man.
True. Oh no. Roughy. Cause what's her name? What's his name? Freaking Haru.
Who was it? Sure you would have.
Yeah?
Totally.
Didn't happen. Oh, okay. Then it's...
Okay. Yikes. That was unnecessary. Dude, he's just chilling.
Boy,
it's kind of just the norm at this point.
Yeah. Moji works behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is worse. Maybe Akito is scared because of the opening.
Yeah. I was about to say, bro.
Come on, bro, you gotta watch it.
It's a masterpiece, I'll tell you that.
Is it just an edit? Is it just focusing on what? What is it?
True. Yeah, I hope it's one of those, like, you know, when you're filming like a relative or something, it's like just on them.
Ignores everybody else in the play. It's just Uotani at all her parts.
I mean, heck, you know. Oh, hey, we're going back to it.
So is he not part of the...
I feel like he is. He's the... I feel like they're referencing like the birds and Tori. So I feel like he's the rooster.
Quit getting nosy. Just let us talk to Tohru.
The curse.
Gosh, will you tell us something? Like, just concretely? He's trying to get rid of her.
Oh, hey, wait.
What? Was that him?
Was that him?
Was it? Is he setting her up to, like, run into
Yeah,
him?
I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah?
The curse was broken, right?
Yeah?
Because the animals won't...
Yeah. And they should have been attracted to him. Wait, is it broken for all of them or just for him, though?
It's just for him, right? It has to be. Because otherwise, none of this would have happened, right? They still turn into the animals.
Which means we can. So
yeah,
we just
that's
gotta
a
figure
possibility.
out how you did it.
Yeah, because what we saw is like a flashback.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but then I was confused. Yeah, but what does that mean?
Because he's like... Because they're similar, these two. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he did it. He feels bad.
She feels like he owes it to Akito or something?
He just feels bad for Akito.
But
he's just like Tohru.
Yeah, but why are you fighting against yourself in this instance?
And that's why he said it was a curse too in the beginning, right?
He feels like he has to... So, but why does he... Like, is there a reason specifically he feels bad for Akito?
I feel like it's just like Tohru. There's no reason. It's just
who he is. He's so good that he... Yeah, because I mean, that is why Akito is doing this, right? Like because he is afraid almost? Like it is like this like toxic fear of abandonment? Yeah, but two things can be true at once. Like it can't be good to abandon somebody and Akito could still be being a horrible, terrible person. Shoot. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I friggin' did we not call this like a billion years ago?
We called that so long ago.
Like, I'm not even surprised. Oh, dang. That's sick.
That's cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, I feel bad because
that's not even a reveal at this point because we're working under the assumption.
I'm happy that you guys know what's going on now because we did. Thank you for catching up, show. No, I was basically, okay. So Akito is a girl. Why is she pretending though? Is it like is it all tied into what Kureno is saying? Or no, or is that still left up in the air?
What do you mean? Like seeing it as like some sort of weakness or something?
Yeah,
like and she's worried.
Like fear of I don't know. I feel like that was kind of big, finding out that
yeah, it's like you almost get hints of it, and it's almost like we kind of like you can kind of think about it like, oh, you know, it feels a little bit like that, but here it very clearly shows that like Akito is honestly just scared essentially of, you know, some sort of like abandonment and people kind of like going on to live their own lives essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole supernatural bond is kind of to her it's like this is what should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the whole like going on to live your life to her
it just feels like a
like
violation of reality.
Yeah. Even though it is technically unfair for them.
And it is still so messed up. Like
no, of course.
Kureno talking about like, I mean, I don't know if that maybe I'm reading too much into the implications, but talking about like hugging up with Akito and like all this different kind of stuff for the sake of
for sure
of like not letting her cry is so messed up. Like that the word may be overused, but that is legitimately like toxic and manipulative.
It is.
Whether intentionally or not. I'm not saying necessarily all the time that Akito is maliciously being manipulative, but regardless, the fact still stands. If she's being manipulative, that's wrong.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's interesting because I think that Kureno is very much like Tohru.
Yeah.
But a little more, I would say a little more self-sacrificial. I feel like he's a little bit, I'm trying to not say the word exaggerated, an exaggerated Tohru, because I feel like it's not that far, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, he wants to be so kind, you know, to this person, regardless of what it might do to other, you know, maybe other people or things like that. His one track mind is like to be kind, essentially.
Well, yeah, and you have this whole idea of like, I even think he kind of recognizes it's just like this like twisted. It's like the wrong context, but even the idea of like, okay, you know, sacrificing for other people and stuff like that, which is a good thing. And I guess Tohru does the same.
No, Tohru does the same for sure.
But it's like this kind of like a perverted is not the right word. It's just like it's not properly applied. But it's like this. It's like it's very real, right? Because it's like it's a thing, and we can recognize the goodness of it. But then you can still misapply it, and so it feels very human to be like, no, I guess like it doesn't matter if I'm suffering or I'm not happy in this or I want something else, because that's what like caring for somebody is, and it's like kind of, but also not completely.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, of course, while I think that they're similar, and I think that they're, these actions are, I can even see Tohru ending up in a situation exactly like this. I do think that there's differences, because even though the story might say that, or might be implying certain things and saying like, like Tohru shouldn't be extremely self-sacrificial,
Sure,
because of certain things, right? Like, for example, like this, like clearly, and now they're not saying it explicitly, but this is like the wrong call, essentially. I feel like, there's a time to be kind and there's a time to be firm.
sure,
You know what I'm saying?
sure.
And so while they might be saying like, oh, Tohru should change essentially, which I kind of do agree with at times, I do think that these two are different, especially when you take into account like, for example, there's being kind and there's also being like, good to someone, legitimately good. It's one of those things where sometimes you got to do a little bit of that tough love stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think if someone is being hurt and they're hurting others, being kind to them, if it's going to continue that process, I feel like Tohru wouldn't do that. Especially now, like, you can still be kind, a kind person like Tohru, but you don't need to go that far, And that's where I think Kureno and Tohru differ. So to me, it's like I don't think it's one of those things where Tohru realizes and she should change.
Yeah,
because I don't see that as a necessity, because I think being self-sacrificial is admirable.
Yeah.
Of course, like it's different for everybody. Like maybe you're just not that person. But some people are like that.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's like other people are involved, right? So it's this other thing of like in a vacuum, perhaps, and this is an ethics argument that you could get into, but let's just assume that in a vacuum, Kureno's actions are okay because it's him, and he's like, well, I'm sacrificing my happiness,
yes,
because I think that sacrifice is worth more. The good that I could do with the sacrifice is worth more than the bad that happens to me, because I'm not able to live my life in the way that I want. But it's like he's like going along with something wrong and like essentially, well, it's like weird, but like aiding Akito in the damage that she's doing to everyone else.
Yeah, I wouldn't say aiding, but I would say like
allowing to a certain extent, though.
Kind of. I don't see it as his responsibility to
No, it's
stop.
not his responsibility.
But I do think like, like he could have, for the good of Akito, possibly done. Remember, and this is, again, it's one of those fantastical stories. So it's like, well, maybe he couldn't have. Like, I'm not sure, because, once again, Akito was very young. Kureno himself was pretty young. And it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
I actually like what they've done with Akito.
Yeah.
I think she's a very interesting character.
Yeah,
and I like that she's human. So I'm not saying that you have to agree, but it's very easy to be like, oh, you're a bad human and you're a good human.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's like it's so much more complicated than that. Like, it's like what at what point? How many bad acts do you have to be a bad human now? How many like what? We're turning this into a math problem now.
Yeah,
like,
of course. But because
if we say any bad act, then we're all freaking bad humans.
Yeah, but of course that's what it does come down to. It's like you do gotta. It comes up to kind of like your own discretion. It's like because ultimately that's how reality is. It's like you can't really change that fact. Not everyone is, this. It's like there's not like a threshold where it's like you're past that point, bad. You know what I'm saying? And so you do have to kind of discern, like, okay, well, and that's once again where it's like you can't really call anyone like, you can't call these people like, okay, you're just straight, like whatever.
You're like evil.
Of course, I'm not saying that there aren't people like that.
And you can colloquially use good and bad. Like I'm also not going the other direction, being like, what is good or bad? It's like no. I think,
they're still good. Like Akito is still
a bad, terrible bad person, right? But to go, I guess. Let's use to differentiate good and bad versus evil and like whatever.
Just or something. I don't know.
I can't think of an opposite.
Yeah.
But like evil, like no one is
I don't. Yeah, hold on. Like
that's a generalization. Akito, is not pure evil.
Yeah,
I think very few. Let me just say that. I think I can confidently say that with my very lack of knowledge. Very few people, if any, but at the very least, very few are pure evil.
Yeah,
and so it's easy to mistake saying, "Oh, this is a good guy," or "This is a bad guy," or "Don't hang around this bad person," as saying, "Hey, that person is 100% bad." Like all of them is bad.
Exactly.
And it's like, nah, bro. They wake up and they eat breakfast the same as you, and they have parents the same as you, and they want things the same as you, and they have dreams the same as you, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, I jumped on the Akito hate train a little bit.
Of course. It's fun, bro. I know you suck.
But I'm seeing like, I feel a little bit bad about Akito, like these situations they're a little...
Akito just feels like a giant child.
Yes. And while that doesn't excuse her actions, it's like I do... Like, Kureno, like, I sympathize a little. I pity her a little bit,
Yeah. It's interesting.
But really quick, it goes back to that whole... I do want to say, it goes back to that story of the Traveler. And I like that story of the Traveler because the Traveler, remember, gave up all of her, her whole body essentially to the demons, right? Mm-hmm. And they kind of just take advantage of that, right? And I always remember Mobiji saying something like, what do you kind of see in that, And do you see someone who gets taken advantage of and how dumb that, like, Traveler is? And then Mobiji kind of said, no, I just see like
Tohru,
a good person.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Yeah. And that's, to me, it's such a, it reminds me of Kureno.
It does.
Because it's like, yeah, like the Traveler is getting taken advantage of, and
because at a certain point you can't decide how everybody else is going to respond to you. All you can do is what is right, or at the very least your closest approximation of what is right. And then like it's not, you can never control if the demons are going to take advantage of you or not, and that's not on you, that's on them.
Yeah. And I think there's something to Momiji, saying that. I think that, like, it's almost like seeing the good in that. There's still a purity to it. I believe, I feel like a lot of people will like disagree, and I totally understand, but I do think like if you can see that sort of like, that person is just kind. Mm-hmm. I feel like that says something.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Cool.
Feel free to jump in the discussion in the comments down below. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining us, for watching. If you all are new here, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. And if you do, we will see you all in the next video.